All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're looking at something absolutely fascinating, the exact point where ancient Indian spirituality collides with modern science. We're talking about the invisible power of words and thoughts. So I want you to keep this one massive question in the back of your mind as we go through this. Can your silent thoughts and spoken words physically alter the world around you? I mean, it sounds kind of like magic, right? But as we trace this from ancient mystery all the way to modern medicine, you're going to see how the source material connects these two completely different worlds. We're going to dive into specific historical anecdotes, medical data, and even wave physics to see how the invisible actually tangibly interacts with the physical world. To kick things off, the text shares this incredible story from the Arnachalam ashram involving the highly revered sage Maharshi Ramana. So picture this. One day, a female monkey just marches up to a crowd at the ashram and starts making these really loud, agitated ho-ho sounds. People are trying their best to shoo her away, but she is not having it. She completely refuses to leave. Maharshi Ramana watches this whole thing unfold and just calmly tells the crowd, "This is the king of the monkeys. His first queen is displeased and has come to complain." He actually explained to everyone that the monkey king had taken another queen, and this first queen was just there venting her frustration. So how exactly does a sage handle monkey drama? Well, he didn't say a word. He didn't physically do anything to fix it. Instead, the text describes how he just slipped into this state of completely silent meditation. He projected his thoughts completely invisibly, and literally just a bit later, the Monkey King himself shows up at the ashram, and it was like he was guided by some unseen force. He actually pacified his first queen and just led her away. The whole thing was resolved without a single word being spoken out loud. It really highlights this profound, invisible communication that the text suggests happens when the mind is totally quieted down. Okay, let's dive into this. How on earth do we bridge the gap between that kind of ancient mysticism and stuff we can actually measure in a lab today? Well, let's trace how medical imaging evolved, because this is where the invisible literally becomes visible to science. Back in 1895, we get the discovery of the X-ray. Fast forward to 1942, and Dr. Karl T. Dussek in Vienna does the very first ultrasound. And now, today, these invisible sound waves are being used all over the globe for incredibly complex brain research and even treating diseases like cancer and TB. Basically, science figured out how to harness invisible vibrations. And just how precise have we gotten at harnessing these waves? Well, look at this number. 10 seconds. Keep that number in your head because it perfectly captures the sheer speed and pinpoint efficiency of modern ultrasound, especially when you compare it to the heavy-handedness of traditional physical surgery. To give you an idea, the source outlines this mind-blowing medical case. There was a specialist in Manhattan, Dr. Johnson, and he was treating a young boy who got a microscopic, super-fine piece of brass lodged deep inside his eye. Using regular metal tweezers for this, way too risky. One tiny slip and the boy could be permanently blind. So what's the solution? The doctor actually used ultrasound waves. He literally shaped sound into invisible forceps. Using nothing but the physical force of those sound vibrations, he gripped and extracted that brass particle, and the whole thing took exactly 10 seconds. We're talking about sound waves physically manipulating matter. To really grasp how sound physically manipulates things on a massive, undeniable scale, we have to look at some research out of Germany. In Dusseldorf, Dr. Und Goldfield and Dr. Sven analyzed a staggering 10,000 ultrasound images of human bodies. That is a massive amount of data, all dedicated to uncovering entirely new facts about how sound waves behave, how they travel through physical spaces, and how we can practically use them. This isn't just theory. This is highly documented, rigorous scientific tracking of invisible forces. But hey, what about the sounds we make every single day? What about our own voices? This brings us to a seriously cool piece of tech, the spectrograph. It's basically an instrument that visualizes sound vibrations. It literally takes your spoken words and turns them into these unique zigzag lines. And according to the source, scientists over at the Bell Telephone Laboratory in New York used this exact tool to map the invisible vibrations of the human voice. They quite literally brought the invisible into the visible spectrum. And this brilliantly illustrates something absolutely wild about our physical existence. When researchers tested this, they found that if different people say the exact same sentence, you get completely different wavelengths. Your voice is completely unique to you. But, and here's the crazy part, the exact same person will produce completely identical wavelengths for a sentence no matter what's going on physically. You could have a terrible cold, you could be running a fever, the air pressure could drop, there could be a massive storm outside. It doesn't matter. Your fundamental voice pattern remains completely unaffected. Your voice is a physical, unchangeable wave of energy. All right, now let's take all those modern medical facts, sound waves pulling brass out of an eye, unchangeable voice signatures, and put them right next to ancient claims. Ancient Indian seers practiced this thing called mantra vidya, basically the science of mantras. And the source notes their claims were huge: removing poison from the body, curing severe diseases, attracting invisible energies, and even things like mind control and energy projection. Now, when you think about that Manhattan doctor using sound as tweezers, suddenly these ancient claims about using specific sound frequencies to cure disease start to look, according to the text, like a super early, profound understanding of wave mechanics. The text even dials it all the way back to the Mahabharata era to show just how much power was supposedly involved here. It talks about mantra arrows being used as these intense energy weapons. The source actually compares the sheer destructive energy of these sound-based weapons to modern atomic bombs. But there's a catch. Unlike a chaotic, messy explosion, these could be targeted with unbelievable precision. The text notes this mantra energy could wipe out a whole army, or, with pinpoint accuracy, be targeted to hit just one specific person in a massive crowd. So what does this all mean for you and me in our daily lives? The source uses this amazing analogy to explain how the entire universe reacts to our personal vibrations. It compares the universe to a cosmic touch-me-not plant, also known as the Chui-Mui plant. If you've ever seen one, you know the second you even touch its super sensitive leaves, they instantly shrink up and react. Well, the text argues the universe operates the exact same way. It immediately reacts to the invisible vibrations of the words we speak into it. Let's move to and see how this builds into a process. Here is the actual systematic journey of a spoken word, according to the text. Step 1, the moment you speak. Your word spreads out. It vibrates right into the very atoms of the universe. Step 2, because the universe is hypersensitive like that touch-me-not plant, your word triggers a massive cosmic reaction, crossing the vastness of space in just seconds. And step 3, that wave doesn't just vanish. It bounces right back to you, carrying matching energies drawn from the universe itself. And this is absolutely crucial. The energy you send out is exactly what you get back. If you speak angry words, they ripple out and they return to your mind carrying angry, hostile thoughts. But what if you speak loving, kind words? They bounce back, bringing sweet, soft, compassionate thoughts right back to you. The universe is, quite literally, an echo chamber for your own invisible vibrations. Which brings us to this incredibly profound philosophical conclusion drawn straight from the source text: every spoken word is a mantra. Think about how beautifully this unites our explainer today. The source text, that ancient spiritual wisdom of mantra vidya, the deep belief that sound holds real power, and connects it directly to the modern physics of ultrasound tweezers and spectrograph voice signatures. It suggests that your everyday words aren't just air, they are actual physical forces shaping your reality. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one big, thought-provoking question based on everything we've uncovered today. If every single word you speak is a physical wave that literally echoes across the atoms of the universe, only to return and shape your own mind, what are you going to choose to say next? Seriously, think about the invisible power you hold right now. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and honestly, I hope this completely changes how you view your daily communication.